Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Shan.
That's Chris.
And welcome to CCTV, the nonstop pop show.
And today we're going to be discussing the newest Eye of the Storm, Tempest, with their debut single, Bad News. I couldn't even say it.
Oh my god. If you're wondering who we are, Shan and I have a huge range of experience in the music industry, from performing on stage to working at record labels. So we have a lot of insight into the crazy music industry. And please come join us on Patreon. We're finally on Patreon.
Yes.
Yay. At patreon.com/cctvpops.
That's right. And also super shout out to our first PA, the inaugural PA. That is Lisette. Thank you so much for your patronage.
Thank
we
you.
Really appreciate it. Yay. Yes. And speaking of awesome things and happy things, we are here to talk about Tempest. And I gotta say, I had no clue who this group was beforehand, but if you are new to Tempest, or even if you're not, allow me to introduce the newest group from Yehua Entertainment. They are debuting with their album It's Me, It's We, and they are a 7-member group from Yehua, and they're also getting distributed by Stone Music Entertainment, which is great. And this group features Vietnamese member Hanbin of Island fame and a couple of other members who participated in survival shows as well. And this new group has released their debut track, Bad News, and we're here to decide if it's really worth the hype. So Chris, what do you think?
I mean, I pretty much only knew about this group because Hanbin was in it, as I did watch Island, and
Right.
I'm just excited for him. I feel like he was kind of shafted in that show and wasn't really given his full, I don't know, he didn't get to show his full potential. So I'm glad for him that he's made his debut away from Enhypen and away from Hybe. And you know, I am in the mourning period because New East just announced their disbandment. So it's nice to have a brand new boy group to distract me for a little bit.
Yeah, you're so right. And speaking of which, Loves or any other fan of third gen groups such as SF9, New East, or Moxta X, we have just released a battle of those 3 bands. So be sure to check out our pop-off episodes on the podcast platform of choice and also here on YouTube. And speaking of which, with the groups and finally getting their moments to shine, I know a couple of these members were either on Produce 101, and I think the tall, thin one with the silver hair, Hwadang, he was actually in DSP Media, which houses Kara, and apparently he left right before getting ready to debut with Mire. I know nothing about them, so maybe it was for the best. I don't know. But I'm super welcome to them. I mean, I knew nothing aside from them except all of them getting COVID before their debut. That was wild. All 7 of them. I was like, okay, so much for like.
Well, they live together, right? So it does make sense. But yes, so their debut was delayed due to that.
Yeah.
But was it worth the wait? Let's find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
This is It Boppin'? Here, we listen to the song and discuss the production, lyrics, video, and everything in between. So let's find out, is it a bop or a flop?
All right, so looking at Bad News' production team, we have Ji-Hai, Inner Child of Monotree, and Jozu of Prism Filter. And of course, we have Lou, the rapper and apparently vocalist of the group. So what did you think about Bad News' production?
I really like it. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I kind of went in with no expectations. Also, we just did the NMIX debut review and I was very underwhelmed. And so I was kind of worried that they would also kind of go in this very experimental direction to just try and stand out from the crowd. And they did the exact opposite. So a few weeks ago, I was talking to our good friend, Jeff Benjamin, who's a famous K-pop journalist. And he had told me that it reminded him of Block B. And I totally hear that. This song feels like a second gen song in the best way possible. Classic pop song structure, really catchy chorus with tons of different hooks in it and a lot of layers. So yeah, very happy with the production and how happy and funky it all is. I would say the main highlight for me is the bass line. It's really awesome in this track. It starts off kind of thick and distorted in the verses, but then for the choruses and the pre-choruses, it lightens up and kind of matches with the other guitars that come in, and it kind of gets a little funkier. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight for me. How about you?
dude. All the words that I was gonna say, you done said them, but it's completely fine because that means we are on the same page. We are on the same page. Yeah, I totally agree with you with this song. I remember when we were watching the teaser, I was like, "Oh my god!" And you're like, "What? You don't know anyone in this group?" And I said, "No, it sounds like second gen. It sounds like Block B." Even Golden Child's dum da be da dum da be da be. It's a Golden
Mm.
Child song. It just sounded like that to me, and even maybe even early 17 with the way they would switch the
Oh yeah.
rapping and the vocal deliveries and the way the bass would slide into that
Yes.
awesome, very smooth pre-hook. Like it was just very much like all the things I loved about second gen going into third was in this song. And like you said, the bass lines are my fave, and the effect on the verse bass lines make it sound really round and bouncy. I don't know if that's the proper term for it, but it whomps like whoa, 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 whoa. I
Mm-hmm.
sound ridiculous, but you know what I'm talking about. And there are some really awesome wind instruments. There's some synth flutes, some horns in the song, like the ones before the da 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 tagline, and then the brassy synth in that second verse with Lou rapping. I love that because it's the whole song, that section kind of sounded new, but it didn't completely rapture me from the song like Oh did. Like Oh was completely jarring. This one was more
Yeah.
like, okay, that's a nasty little beat on top of the established melody and drum pattern that we've been made
Yes.
familiar with in verse one. And by the way, if you have not checked out our in mix review and analysis, please do so and let us know your thoughts in the comments. But like I said, I love that brassy part. And even when that brass was left alone for the second verse and then the second chorus, you never hear it again until that last, like that bridge section. That's
Mm-hmm.
the only time you hear it again. But it comes in like bah, bah, as opposed to blaring through as it did in the second verse. So I appreciate, again, just bringing it right back around and reminding us like, hey, we used this before. You love it. And yes, I did. Again, the guitars were really good. And it's kind of hard to hear them unless you're like really just focused on them because there's a lot going on with the vocals, but they're
Mm-hmm.
stacked really
A lot of
nicely. The
layers,
production,
yeah.
super, right? But I have to say, the licks are licking back there with that guitar. It's like, I sound crazy.
Yeah.
But
And you mentioned the bridge. The bridge is really
yeah.
good. And I like that it has two
Hmm.
completely different parts to it too, which is fun. You
Yes.
don't normally get that. I mean, most songs don't even have bridges now. For them to have two is awesome.
You're right.
Also,
Right.
love
Yes.
the key change for that last chorus. I love
Oh
a
my
key
God.
change, and this one was very
Yes.
effective.
Totally. And that kind of just goes right into how I feel about like their vocalists, right? So you have, was it Hyung-sup? Hyung-sup is the black-haired one who has the more brighter tone compared to Hyuk, who sounds more R&B-ish, who kind of even reminds me a little bit of 17, where it's clear and supported, but it
Hmm.
still has a little bit of R&B soul in it. Like you can tell this kid was listening to Brian McKnight somewhere in his life. You know, you can hear it, right? I love that this group doesn't really have any nasally singers or rappers. Or if they do, it's not something where it sounds like they're rapping or singing at the peak of their ranges. It just sounds like they're
Yeah.
young kids still developing. You know, like, oh, we're still going through puberty, we're still young, we're still bright and effervescent. Like the voices haven't become bassy yet, but it's still really nice. I really appreciate how bright this was. And like I said, Hyungsup has more of that pop tone that makes the chorus bright. So when it comes back around with that key change, it just sounds really good. And then Hyuk kind of uh does his little vocal at the end of it with the
Hmm.
harmonies, bring that little R&B smoothness back to it. So it's nice that this song has a lot of like energy, but it's also very charming. And I have to say, the rapper, Lou, hello, I was not expecting the singer in the second verse to suddenly start rapping. It's the first verse to start rapping in the second verse. I thought that was really cool. I was like,
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's some really good tones in this group for sure. I think it all just sounded very natural. Like none of them, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, none of them were pushing too hard. It sounded like all their throats were open and just very relaxed
Yeah.
when they were
Yeah.
singing this in the studio, which is good because again, that's quite
Yeah.
rare now in K-pop. So that's
Mm-hmm.
refreshing. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think the overall vocal production is good. I think, like you mentioned earlier, there are a lot of layers to
Mm-hmm.
everything, but it's kind of nice
Yes.
that they actually sound like an actual group in the chorus. You know, we
Oh
have
my
so
God, yes.
many. I don't know. The trend in K-pop right now is like no one, they don't ever actually sing all together. Or there's a very few moments where they'll just like chant one line together or something like that, you know?
Yes.
But like to have them sing the chorus actually together with kind of different layers and harmonies in there. Again, that's refreshing. So yeah, I think they're really good. And yeah, this won't be annoying for them to sing as they get older either.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So, yeah, because you know sometimes sometimes
you can
I
tell.
don't know, you can just tell that it's
it.
that it just doesn't fit kind of where they are when they get a little older. So yeah, so I think they won't have a problem with this, which is good.
Yes.
So for the lyrics, so I have to say I was expecting a lot of metaphors. You know, I feel like you often get when these groups have a name that's just a very visual name. So like Tempest, you know, a strong force of wind. And I was like, oh gosh, this song is going to be about how they're like, you know, a storm coming in.
Right.
But they did not do that, which I'm very happy about.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I agree with you. I think this could have gone in so many different ways. And I'm laughing because literally before we started, I was like singing, yeah, with an eye of the storm, just going in because they really could have gone with this really cliche, very future-based brass, kind of intense, angsty, dark concept. And it's like, oh God, here we go. Here we go again. I mean, they literally have a whole Beyblade as their logo. It could have gone in any direction.
Yeah.
But apparently, but luckily it went in that typical, hello world, we're here to make a mark, you know? And I appreciate that. And according to the press releases for this song that I had to translate, the song Bad News paradoxically contains Tempest's ambition and commitment to conquer K-pop, meaning as bright as this song is, the lyrics are saying like, hey, listen, let's get it started. The clock is ticking. Now it's showtime. It's very in your face, very much like you take it or you leave it. You better roll the dice on us or not. Like at the end of the day, like we are the ones that are coming to change the game, if you will.
Yes.
And they didn't mention a storm not one time. And I was like, thank you.
I have to say though, given the lyrics, I feel like they should actually be good news. Like I don't know why they're bad news, but I guess maybe bad news for the rest of the industry.
Yep, for the competition.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, again, I also appreciate kind of in the same lane. They are also not from space or another planet or another dimension or et cetera, et cetera. They're just regular boys
next door.
Yeah. Thank God for that. Because I'm so over the space thing. I love space, you know?
Right.
I mean, I love Sailor Moon, obviously. That's like, you know, it all stems from that, I believe. But like, it's too much. It's too much in K-pop. So yeah.
Can I tell you, one of my favorite girl groups, Weekly, used to go for this girl next door school concept. Even their last songs were kind of skater girls. They are now coming from space. I'm over it. If one more person comes from another dimension, I swear to everything. Okay, I will throw them into the Tempest myself. Okay,
yes.
But speaking of brand new worlds, I love that with the lyrics when it goes like, you know, brand new world with Hanbin in the bridge. Again, back to the production. The bridge took me somewhere else again. And we were on the same planet, unlike other K-pop acts. And honestly, even though we were taken to another place, like vocally and like instrumentally, in the video, they were still in the cul-de-sac. They were still in the alleyway. They were still at their graffiti skate park. And I was just like, oh my God, this video. It's so simple. They're on a sound stage.
Yep.
There's some very minimal effects and lighting. Holy smokes. What did you think about this video? Because I feel like I was just like, oh, finally, simplicity.
It's funny because this is just like the complete opposite of the NMIXX track, you know, in every way. And that includes the video. Because like you said, it's like this, it's simple in the best way possible. They're literally, there's a couple of main scenes and that's it. They change up the lighting and the costumes and stuff, but you know, I don't know, it's all not jarring at all. You know, they're kind of all in the same vibe the whole time. And yeah, you know, the graffiti, the styling. I love the fake street setup. That's very second gen, you know, when it's clearly not really outside.
Right.
I feel like it could have gone more in the kind of news concept. You know, they had a few flashes of that with the newspaper and like the rapper and the kind of press conference kind of mic setup.
Yeah, like us.
But you know, it's an entertaining video and it was effective. It really let them just kind of shine as performers, which is great.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. When your effects are doing more for you than your actual artist, then maybe it's time to like kind of strip it back, right? Because
Yes.
then when you see them in the 3D or whatever, or the well, apparently the 2D, because these when they get on stage, it just falls flat. Okay. And I'm not talking about anyone. I'm not talking about NMIX. I'm talking about in general. You have all these 3D concepts, and then when you see them, it's like a 2D flat performance because they're not doing anything except, oh gosh, there's no CGI for me to interact with. What will I do?
Hmm.
And these kids performed, right? And back to what you were saying about the second gen concept, I really enjoy that because it's familiarity. It's something that we recognize and therefore we kind of accept it a little bit more, but also it feels fresh because it hasn't been done in such a long time. The same way that, early 2000s Y2K music, maybe the early 2010s music is becoming a lot popular here. K-pop seems to be kind of recycling their sounds
Hmm.
and trying to figure out how to make it fresh. And I think they did a good job, especially in this video. They look so adorable. Oh my God. They're so cute. I felt like a dance teacher, a proud teacher watching her children just graduate or like do their recital. I feel like a mom. I felt so proud of them. I don't know any of these kids, but there's something about them is very charming. And I think that's the dichotomy with the whole concept. The name's super intense. The song is like in your face, but their presentation is wrapped up in this cute box, like fresh face cuteness. And they're the boys next door who maybe kind of skate at the mall or they doodle on the desk, but they're not gangsters. They're not
Hmm.
gangsters or whatever played out cliche K-pop is watering down and overdoing.
Hmm.
And also shout out to Hwarang, the little tall rapper dude. He has like the white hair and the deer face. He kind of looks like a fox in the face, which also brings me back to our first Patreon, Lisette, with your cute little fox avatar. Thank you again. By the way, I know segue of a lifetime right there.
Yes.
That's like amazing, right?
All right. So yes, Tempest have also done their debut showcase. So we do have a
Oh, that's right.
performance to watch. So what
Yes.
did you think of their debut performance?
Shout out to Toki Stars because they were actually invited to the press
Ooh,
conference.
very cool.
So I was watching, yeah, right. So I was watching their coverage of it, and the performance was really interesting. Again, they are adorable. They sell it. This company, Yehua, has figured out how to get a group of guys together
Mhm.
that actually have chemistry. And I know people might be like, oh, how can you tell? You can tell that these kids actually make eye contact while they're on stage. And I really appreciate it. You can tell that they actually like they don't just look good together, they feel good together. Like I enjoy watching them. I want to be a part of their choreography. I will say that there's nothing outstanding about it, but I do appreciate that when there was moments for the members to have like solos, the other ones would drop down in a plie or maybe go around in a circle, or even when Lou was walking through the like a little Soul Train line, they were acting like they were playing tag or something. It just felt very natural, felt very fun. It was very infectious. um and I don't remember anything really iconic about the movement except maybe the brand new and the we're bad news, the chin grab.
Mhm.
um that's about it. And then the da 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 like little seven dwarf dance that
Yes.
they had going on. Oh my god, so cute. It's adorable.
That's a good comparison. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about the chin thing. I get
It's
that.
very
Maybe I
cheesy.
guess it's memorable, but I don't know.
It's, it's
I
cheesy.
wish it was something else. But yeah, I will say I think these kids being in those survival shows paid off. I think because
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're in those shows, you do the absolute
Yeah.
most, and you're also just very aware of the camera. And anytime it's like your time to shine, and so it's
Yeah.
much easier um,
Mm-hmm.
as a performer to go as intense as possible, and then be able to pull back from that. Because the
Yeah.
hardest part is trying to pull it out of people, you know. So then
Hmm.
when you're able to pull it out and get them at their like highest kind of energy
Mm-hmm.
level, it's much
Yeah.
easier to then pull it back. And so I think with these guys, like I would not have known that was their debut at all. They didn't seem that
Right.
nervous. And they just
Right.
seemed, they weren't like, they weren't frantically looking for the camera or like, even they didn't even seem that
Mm-hmm.
aware of the camera. Like I think
Right.
they just seemed very natural. And I think
Yeah.
having that experience in those shows probably helped a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, they kind of have a leg up on everyone in that way. But yeah, I think overall, I agree. There's not any huge memorable moments. I think the choreography is
Mm-hmm.
fun, and it does include a lot of popular moves, that a lot of
Oh,
fans will know, like a very
yeah.
kind of,
Millie Rock and other
yes,
random
all the viral
yeah.
TikTok dance moves.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the musicality is good and they have
Mhm.
fun with it. And I think that's the most
Yeah.
important thing, especially for a debut
Right.
track. And
Yeah.
yeah, they don't have to worry
They
about
can
too
do
many
this.
tricks.
Yeah, they can do
Yeah.
this 10 years down the line and be like, "Oh gosh, this is our debut song.
hmm
Here comes bad news," and joke around.
Yes.
I appreciate that for sure. But one thing I have to say, now that you mentioned like, giving it their all and something having to bring things out during this performance, Untan, the visual or vocal of this group, he's definitely the visual. He's definitely like a model, if I'm not mistaken. Like on his profile, he went to school for
Okay.
modeling. This boy, they said, "Here comes bad news," or "We're brand new," and he just stared at the camera. I mean, like he's cute, but like it was just so emotionless. It was absolutely emotionless,
Uh-huh.
and I thought, oh my god, wow, he's like a cute little ghost. Just nothing, just you know.
Mm.
Um, aside from that, I mean, he started warming up. I feel like he's gonna get a little bit better because it could be like a direction for the stage. Because in the video, he gave a little bit more,
Mm.
but not that much. But on stage, it was just flat,
Okay.
very flat, But aside from that, the charm and the chemistry are abundant in this group. So with that being said, rave reviews across the board apparently. How would you score this song?
I will give it an 8. I think it's a solid debut track. I'm very excited about their potential. How about you?
Same.
Okay.
It appears that we have. We're here. It's a boppity bop. Pop. Let's go.
Yes. So you did listen to the rest of the mini album, right? So what did you think of that?
Oh, I liked it. I mean, they are definitely going for that whole second gen, third gen siphoning off of second gen sound,
Mhm.
which I appreciate. So I liked a couple of their songs on there. Actually, this song is one of those like, yeah, this is the main track and you can totally hear it, but the other ones could stand up if they decide to do a showcase. We would not be bored.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that even though their teaser like choreography videos were hip hop oriented, this group is not focused on yo 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 what's good. I left and right.
Yeah.
And I'm happy they show promise for sure. And I hope that they stick with this concept for at least 2 more mini albums just to separate them from the pack of angst.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with angst, but I think it would have to be done like not as intensely as kind of the way
Yeah.
it is being done now. So I don't know, it'd be kind of
Yeah.
interesting to see kind of how they would adapt the second gen kind of sound to that.
Infinite.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking
give us
too. Infinite.
Okay, good.
Um,
Thinking infinite.
yeah, honestly, I'm excited to see kind of what they do next. I haven't had a chance to listen to the rest of the music yet, but I will do after this. And yeah, just again, good job, Hanbin. I'm excited for you.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's right. That's so sweet. What do you all think about this track? I do believe that the group is like the fandom name is called, I forget, like Eye of the Storm.
Oh,
I'm
that
not
makes
sure.
sense. Actually, don't mind that.
Oh, are you sure? I think so. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's I. If I'm wrong, definitely let us know in the comments. We're definitely new, and I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna be a fan yet. I like them, but
Yeah,
we
I mean,
need,
you need more than one
I need to.
song. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if you like the track, let us know your thoughts in the comments below or message us at CCTV Pops on all social media. And you can join us, like La said, on Patreon at patreon.com/CCTV Pops. We'd love to hear all of your thoughts, and you can help us decide our next episode topics. Please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. For our listeners, give us a rating and a review on your preferred podcast platform. Until next time, that's Chris.
That's Shan.
And we are CCTV.